Alright, I've put this video off for a couple of weeks, and just in general. But today I put it off for about 7 miles. Eventually I said I can't have my mid-hike snack until I've made the damn video, so I've kind of screwed myself to the point where I have to shoot the video or starve. It's pretty much the only way I ever get anything done. So my name is Dave. I am from northern Indiana. I'm in my late 40s. I hopefully don't look it, but I'm certainly starting to feel it. And I am going to be through hiking the Appalachian Trail in 2025 because, well, like I already said, I'm not getting any younger. I had a great big introduction idea that I wanted to have music and graphics and, well, it just wasn't really me. I don't like big produced stuff, and frankly I just kind of like to go off the cuff, and I think that's probably the best introduction you can have. Who was it? Cicero said that all you need is a polite and affable manner to have a successful introduction. So I might not be the most polite fellow in the world, but if you don't mind someone with a few rough edges, I think I'm pretty affable. But here's where story time begins. So gather up your popcorn and Skittles and soda and insulin pumps, and those of you weirdos who like Twizzlers, go ahead and bust out the bag. If you like, even worse things, if you're one of those real psychopaths who like black licorice, I guess you can eat that too. But please sit in the far corner so the rest of us don't have to smell that stuff. Anyways, as you can see, I'm clearly a professional photographer. I love getting shots of my nose and my chin and then nothing else, because frankly that's how they train us professionals. No, I can barely hold the damn camera, so you're gonna have to deal with that. And if I keep apologizing for everything I do wrong, that's all I'm gonna say. So it's really freaking muddy here, so if I disappear from view and you hear obscenities screamed from the distance, that's because of the mud, and frankly it's evil twin gravity. When they work together, it could really screw me over, but I'll keep it in if it happens. Screw editing, who needs that? And if I start having a runny nose, because also I have a cold, and again, freaking gravity, you're just gonna have to forgive the snot. This is nature, baby. Anyways, back in March of 2024, I had been having a hard time sleeping, and so I was trying to find all sorts of things to listen to, just put some earbuds in and try and focus on that and fade away, just so I could get some decent sleep at night. And I found these videos, long ass videos, maybe 10 hours, of somebody in a car driving through Japan. And usually there'd be like thunderstorms or rain. It was just this constant, almost white noise, but there was just enough variation that it wasn't just static in your ears. So I liked that, and I listened to a few of those, and they helped a little bit. And for some reason, I don't know if the algorithm on YouTube thought that a long distance traverse was the commonality between the two, but it started showing me Appalachian hiking videos. And it was like, okay, YouTube, get out of my head. Because I've been dreaming about that trail since I was 19. So, rewind to when I was 19. I worked in New Jersey I was a wilderness survival instructor and behavior modification counselor for kind of like juvenile corrections. These were kids who had been sort of flagged by the system as potentially heading off track. They hadn't really done anything yet. They were just, nothing major. Nobody's robbing banks or blowing up busloads of nuns or anything. But, little stuff. They're just punk kids, like most of us. So I was working there. I kind of gumped my way into that. But I'll probably tell you that story some other day. But anyways, one of our weeks was spent on the Appalachian Trail, because it goes right through Jersey, as I'm sure you know if you're already watching these videos. And that was just the first taste that I had. It was amazing. Seeing some people going by who you could smell before you could see, and then you could hear the click-clack of their little trekking poles. And there really weren't very many trekking poles back then. This was the latter 90s, 97. And it didn't seem like there was a lot of trekking poles, not the way there is now. But the whole thing just seemed magical. These people who said that they left in Georgia and wouldn't stop until Maine. And I don't know why. I don't know how I'd never heard of this before, but I just thought, that's the dream there, baby. Just start and go for like months. I've always loved the woods. I had a very interesting childhood, and the first real feeling of competence was in the woods when I started going to summer camp. And so ever since then, this is my church. And knowing that there were people who could just get on the trail in one state and basically end up in another biome months later, that was singing my song. So from 19 on, I really wanted to do it. But I kind of went off track in my 20s. I was still teaching, but kind of in my off time, I was also basically just going nuts. I'm not going to go into the details right now, but you'll probably hear them as I do videos throughout the trail. But it took me a few years to right the ship. And I started trying to on my own in the mid-2000s, but it was really hard. It was really hard to find motivation to not be a raging lunatic. But then I met my woman. Everyone's got their someone. I'm her guy, she's my woman. We've been together since 2005. And she basically gave me a reason to fix myself. Guys and girls, no one else is going to fix you. No one else is, it's not their responsibility. But if you find someone that you feel motivated to fix yourself for, there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't expect them to do any of the magic work for you. Because that shit just takes you and a lot of fucking time. But as you can see, I curse a little bit, so if you're watching this with kids, earmuffs, just at random. But once I met her, things got a lot better. Inside, outside, I guess I should say both inside and inside. Inside my mind, they got better, but my body fell apart within a few years. I was deathly ill from about 2008 for about a decade. And when that finally got fixed with a major spinal surgery, my body came back. I had a small stroke during the surgery, so I had some issues with that, but I basically was able to be active again. I'd spent almost a decade literally getting out of breath if I walked from the bedroom to the bathroom. So that was really not a fun experience for a while, especially for someone who had been so active and whose very occupation was working in the woods or coaching sports or actively teaching young people. That's my wheelhouse. And I lost that for a long time. So when my body came back, I'd kind of been in the habit of not doing anything for a long time. When you lose the momentum of life, pretty much lose life. You're still alive, but you're not really living. And even when my body started to get a little bit healthier, I just kind of did very little. I wrote a draft of a book, and then it sat there, and sat there some more. I tried to write a video game, got through the whole concept, and it sat there, and sat there some more. So all the way up to spring of this year, I was realizing that just nothing was happening. So that's probably why I wasn't sleeping very well. There's other people here, so I'm going to pause this. All right. Got past the peoples. There's a couple of older ladies who were chatting so much they didn't hear me coming, and I think I scared them. But anyways, so in the spring, had the sleeping problem, found those videos, and then told my shrink about it. And she was like, well, why don't you do the Appalachian Trail now? Those videos, were certainly inspiring, weren't they? And I said, yeah, I would have always wanted to do it. And she's like, well, you're healthy now. You might as well do it. You don't know how long your health is going to stay. And I don't know why, but it kind of reminded me of this song by one of my favorite EDM groups called Above and Beyond. And in the song, there's this verse that says, dream on, little dreamer. I'm going to forget all the lyrics because I'm under the gun now. But something to the effect of, you've got to gather up all you need, choose a direction, and when the time is right, you've got to go. And so when the shrink was telling me all this, that was kind of playing in my head. And I was like, nah, you know what? I'm closing in on 50. I've got bad knees. I've got fused vertebrae in my neck. I've got so much hardware from head to toe. I set off metal detectors just by going near them. Do I really think I can do that? And the part of me inside that kind of, well, frankly, has been caged ever since I tried to be a decent human being, he shouted out from behind his bars, you damn well better go do it. But then I just realized I don't know if I could be away from my woman that long. We're a very close couple. We've been together almost 20 years now. In fact, our 20th anniversary will be in September of 2025. And if I time it right, I will summit Katahdin on that anniversary with her. But anyways, we don't have like awkward silences, or we don't sit in restaurants and like eat dinner and not talk. I see so many couples there at various restaurants who just don't ever talk to each other. They don't seem angry, but they're just like kind of like sharing a table rather than sharing a life. But that's just not really us. We're always happy in each other's company. I think we just kind of prefer each other to everybody else on earth. So I kind of put the whole thing out of my mind because I don't like the idea of her having to be alone that long. And I just deep down felt like it was an abandonment, like I would just be leaving. That's not cool. Even if, everything's organized and copacetic between us. I don't know, it just felt wrong. So I didn't really think about it for months. But on the side, my shrink started getting me even more in shape. She gave me these little assignments like, go play basketball. Because she knew I used to love playing basketball. That was probably my first love. I started playing, I should put the word in quotes, playing, when I was 7. And my neighbor, he was my age, and we would always go shoot hoops. And it literally took me a year and a half to make my first basket. This is probably where I should rewind again. I was born without thumbs. I was born with half a right forearm So it's like 6 to 7 inches shorter than the left. Yeah, probably more than that. But you might have seen it flapping around in the background as I wipe my snotty nose. But there it goes again. So no thumbs, half a right arm, naturally fused vertebrae in my neck, an extra rib on the right side, cardiomegaly, which is enlarged heart muscle, and a complete space between my mouth and my lungs and stomach. Nothing connected. They were just like a stump at the bottom of my throat and stumps at the tops of my stomach and lungs. So I was on machines there for a while until they could surgically construct my throat, my esophagus and trachea. And yeah, I think it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that I wasn't going to be a superior athlete at all, let alone maybe even live all that long. But I did, because I'm stubborn as hell, and ended up being stubborn my whole life. But it got me into basketball, and once I started actually getting proficient as I got older, it took years, because I had constant surgeries on my hands and arms through the first 10 years of my life, then a few surgeries after that. I always say we kind of started counting at the very beginning, but then stopped when we hit, several dozen surgeries by the time I was 12. So I don't even know how many there is now total. But as my body started to come together like a tinker toy construction, I started getting more into basketball, to the point where in my teens I got pretty good. And then in my college days I was quite good. I usually played against guys a foot taller than me. I'm not very tall, but I have huge feet and really strong legs, and would always play power forward or small forward depending on where we were playing. But I loved it, and I played it constantly. I've played all over the country just for fun. I mean, this is like playground stuff, but if you've ever seen playground ball in cities, it's not a few 50-year-old guys at the Y. It's actually something to see, and it was fun. I had a hell of a time. And then when I got sick at 30, that all went away for a decade. Did not have any ability to play. I tried at first, tried several times, and it wasn't in me. But now this shrink got me back into playing ball. So my body started to come together again. And it took a few months, but got to the point where I could, string together 5 or 6 made shots in a row, and started regaining ball handling, all the shit. Well, then her next assignment was, why don't you go hiking again? And I told her, well, because I love the woods so much, once I go out there, I'm never going to want to come back. And she said, well, just go for an hour. Grab some cookies or a little treat, something to make it enjoyable. Put your headphones in and just go out in the woods, hike. So I started doing that, and kind of found a compromise where I do come back, but I'm usually out here for hours now. So by the late fall, it was kind of like, well, you've got 3 dream projects of your life that you just had sitting there. There's the book, there's the video game, which I'm sure at some point I'll explain for you. It's interesting, I think it could be cool. But anyways, and then there's the AT, which has been the longest running dream I've had. So yeah, sorry, I can't hold these damn phones. But I really struggled with the decision. I talked it over with my woman, And I keep calling her that, not as a, diminutive or anything like that. That's just because I'm not giving you her damn name. You're not cool enough to know her name. So maybe someday, if she's okay with it, she can tell you her name. But until then, she's my woman, and when she makes videos, she can call me her man. I don't care. We belong to each other. Anyway, we talked about it, and I struggled with it for about a week. But when I said I think I want to do the hike, she said, yeah, I think you should. I think it's a good idea. And that was like taking a huge weight off my back. That was magic. And once that was done, it was kind of like, okay, full speed ahead. And I guess step one of that was getting the gear, which I got almost all of it already. And I'm already at a point where I can hike with about 25 pounds on my back for about 10 miles on average. I mean, it's just casual. I could probably push it a lot further, but I'm just trying to make it so that the beginning is really easy. But the next step was, do I want to video this whole thing? And it's like, I don't mind the work of, carrying a camera and, hey, look at that, look at this, look at that. Or, hey, look at me having an absolute breakdown on top of this mountain. I don't care about that. I do care about wasting time on editing and finding the right music and all that stuff, so I'm probably not going to do that. Maybe after it's all over, I'll make one documentary video of the whole thing, and it'll be all pretty and bells and whistles and yada yada. But most of this is going to be pretty raw. As you can see, this is already a long-ass video. So if you've fallen asleep, wake up, go back to the point you remember last, and start again. Because I'm not repeating any of this. That's not true. I probably repeat a lot of stuff. It's probably the stroke that makes me repeat a lot of stuff. But anyway, again, my name is Dave from Northern Indiana, late 40s, and I will be starting the Appalachian. I gotta get used to that. Here in the Midwest, everyone says Appalachian, but I'm pretty sure it's Appalachian. But I will be starting, ideally, April 1st, flying on the 31st of March, stay at that beautiful lodge, and hit the trail on April Fool's Day. How ironic. Between now and then, I'll probably put up a few videos, increasingly more as we get closer. I don't want you to get too sick of my face and voice, because frankly, I'm already sick of my face and voice, so I wouldn't blame you. But just keep an eye on this channel. It's Game On, capital GA / capital ME on. And I'll probably explain that in the near future, why that's called that. But I hope you found this mildly entertaining enough that you didn't fall into a coma. And if you did, then maybe someone else who had insomnia like me can use these videos to help them get a little shut-eye. To close this, probably how I will close all my videos, I will just say one thing. If you can, you must, for those who can't.